You are tuned into Echoes of Us, written by Azalea Moon, previously on episode 5. After days of chaos and captivity, Sebastian finally wakes to something unfamiliar: peace. But it doesn't last. Inside the house, Maggie fills the morning with music, warmth, and sharp humor, sensing the tension Sebastian can't quite hide. Before Camila wakes, he asks Maggie to walk with him, leading her to the shoreline where the truth can no longer stay buried. Camila's mother is alive. Sebastian reveals that Angela didn't abandon her family. She was taken, held captive for over 20 years by a powerful man known only as Don, the same man tied to the death of Camila's father. A past they thought was settled begins to unravel into something far more dangerous. Angela has been surviving in the shadows all this time, and she hasn't been alone. She now has 2 sons, Camila's half-brothers, and their existence complicates everything. One helped Angela escape years ago, but the ripple effects of that past are still unfolding. Sebastian also reveals the truth about his own abduction. It was Victor. His brother orchestrated it, not as a kidnapping, but as a desperate attempt to force a meeting. But what followed only deepened the fractures between them, leaving trust more fragile than ever. As the weight of it all settles in, one truth becomes clear. The hardest part isn't what they've survived. It's what comes next. Because now, Sebastian has to tell Camila the truth about her mother. And there's no way to soften what that truth will do to her. And now, Season 2, Episode 6.
The soft hum of the ocean filters through the open window. Warm light stretches across the bed. I blink awake, stretching, then freeze. The space beside me is empty. I sit up quickly, scanning the room. Everything is exactly where we left it last night. His watch still on the nightstand, his clothes neatly folded on the chair. He didn't rush out, no sign of panic, no sign of trouble. But he's gone. My pulse jumps anyway. I slip out of bed and move through the hallway. I call out, "Sebastian?" No answer. The kitchen smells faintly of pancakes and coffee. Maggie's doing, no doubt, but the room is empty. No Maggie, no Sebastian, no Bruno. That's when I hear it. A familiar bark, muffled but close. I step toward the back windows and peek outside. The dunes sway gently. Beyond them, another bark, closer this time. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Of course. They're on the beach. A smile tugs at my lips. I grab a sweater from the hook, pull it on, and head outside barefoot. The morning air is cool, the sand soft under my feet. When I crest the small dune, I see them. Maggie talking animatedly, Sebastian listening, Bruno sprinting in happy circles around them. My 3 favorite beings in the world, right here, safe. And knowing Maggie, she's probably already telling him stories I'm not ready for him to hear. I can't help but smile as I walk toward them. The sand is cool beneath my feet. Bruno spots me first. He barks, tail wagging so hard his whole body wiggles. Then he bolts toward me like a rocket. I start laughing and crouch down. "Good morning, my love." "Yes, I missed you too." I rub his head, and when I look up, both Sebastian and Maggie are staring at me, wide-eyed, frozen mid-conversation, like I just walked in on a government briefing. Definitely talking about something, and judging by Maggie's face, it was something spicy. They exchanged the quickest glance, guilt and surprise wrapped in a single blink. I stand there, amused, and shout, "Wow, you 2 look real natural right now, totally not suspicious." Maggie's the first to recover. She tosses her curls, lifts her chin, and smirks.
"Girl, we weren't saying anything, just talking about Jesus and vitamin D."
I arch a brow and reply, "Right, sounds exactly like the 2 of you." Sebastian steps closer, his expression softening. He smells like ocean and pancakes.
"You slept hard. You needed it."
He brushes a stray curl behind my ear, and for a moment, everything else disappears. The kidnapping, the chaos, the unanswered questions. I smile up at him and say, "Clearly, you 3 were having fun without me." Sebastian shakes his head.
"Not fun. More like Catching up. Processing.
His eyes shift just slightly. Something's weighing on him. I look between the two of them and say, "Should I be worried? Because the way you both reacted is a bit sus." Maggie cuts in. Too fast.
Nope, nothing to worry about. I was just asking him why the Lord brought him back looking like a Dominican Wolverine.
Sebastian groans, rubbing his face.
She literally said that.
I can't help it. I laugh. Whatever they were talking about, it can wait until he's ready. Right now, he's here, alive, breathing, and that's all that matters. I grab both their hands and tell them, "Come on, let's go inside before Bruno eats the ocean." Bruno barks, and we all start walking back together, the waves breaking steady behind us. The moment we step inside, the smell hits, pancakes, butter, cinnamon, and way too much coffee brewing at once. Maggie's signature chaos. Bruno races in first, skidding across the tile like a toddler on ice.
Bruno, slow down!
Sebastian shakes his head, grabbing plates from the cabinet.
He does this every time someone cooks. He thinks everything that hits the table is his.
I smile at Bruno. Good thing he's cute. Maggie flicks on the speaker, and soft R&B flows through the room. Warm vocals, soft bass, sunlight pouring in through the windows. She moves like she owns the kitchen.
Camilla, sit. I made pancakes, eggs, turkey bacon, and something that might be a smoothie but also might be a science experiment. We'll find out together.
I laugh and slide into a chair. Sebastian sets plates in front of us, then sits beside me. He looks tired, but softer. Like this moment is the first real breath he's taken in days. He stares at the food for a beat, then looks up at Maggie.
It's actually good. This is my second serving. Maggie cooked all this before sunrise?
Baby, I've been up since 5. Jet lag, Jesus, caffeine. I'm basically on a spiritual Red Bull.
She sits, bowing her head.
All right, quick prayer, because the Lord blessed us with survival and carbs.
Sebastian and I exchange a smile.
Father, thank you for bringing this man home, keeping this woman strong, and giving this dog too much energy. Amen.
We all say amen and dug in. Bruno sits politely beside Sebastian for exactly 3 seconds, then tries to steal a piece of bacon.
Nope. Eat your food, not mine.
I'm watching him, the small smirk, the relaxed shoulders, the way his hand brushes my knee like he's grounding himself in the moment. After everything, after the fear, the sleepless nights, the not knowing, this feels unreal, like we're stealing a moment from a life we're still fighting for. Maggie bites into a pancake and moans dramatically.
I'm really enjoying us 3 having breakfast together. Do I need to have a crisis to stay here longer?
Oh, we've got that covered. Don't worry. Sebastian laughs under his breath. That deep, warm sound I didn't realize I'd been craving.
You two together are going to be the reason I never sleep again.
You're welcome.
We keep eating, laughing, sharing small stories as if the world hadn't just tried to break us open. But under the table, Sebastian's knee taps mine, a silent reminder. He's holding something heavy, something he hasn't said yet. And eventually, he'll have to. For now, though, we let the morning be soft. We're halfway through breakfast when I notice Sebastian's body language shift, subtle, but enough for me to catch it. His shoulders straighten, his eyes narrow at his phone. Then he reaches for it. My heart tugs. Instinct, because after everything that's happened, every tiny move means something. He stands just a few steps away from the table and talks into the phone.
Yeah, it's me. Move the briefing to 10:30. I need a little more time.
He hangs up, slips the phone into his pocket, exhales once. My thoughts gone into panic mode. 10:30, a meeting, already, after being kidnapped, after everything. Something tightens in my chest. I watch him walk back to the table, calm, collected, like he's not carrying a storm in his back pocket. I set my fork down and ask, "What meeting is so urgent you need to take it so soon after being brought home with a head injury?" Sebastian stops mid-sit. His eyes meet mine, steady, but guarded. Before he can answer, I hear Maggie clear her throat. Loudly, too loudly. She's fidgeting in her seat, drumming her fingers, bouncing a leg, scanning the room like we're suddenly under surveillance. I turn sharply and practically shout, "Okay, what is going on?" Maggie freezes. The room goes still. Even Bruno seems to hold his breath. I'm starting to feel agitated. I continue. "The two of you disappeared this morning, came back looking like you were plotting a jailbreak, and now you're twitching like you drank a gallon of espresso. So talk." Maggie looks at Sebastian, wide-eyed, as if asking permission. He doesn't give it. He doesn't deny it either. He just presses his lips together, jaw tight, and something cold slides down my spine. He's hiding something big, and Maggie knows it. I take a breath, look at Sebastian, and say, "Sebastian, what meeting? What aren't you telling me?" He swallows, eyes briefly shifting to the window, like he's trying to gather courage. I stare between them. You two better start talking, and the air changes, like we all know whatever comes next is going to change everything. Sebastian rubs the back of his neck, a tell I know too well, before turning to Maggie.
Maggie, can we have the room?
Maggie's eyes widen. She looks at me, then at him, like she'd rather evaporate into steam. I push back my chair and stand before she can even move. They both look at me. I say, "No, she clearly already knows something. And if she leaves, she's just going to pace in the hallway until I drag it out of her anyway." Maggie blinks twice, caught, guilty, incapable of hiding a single thing even if her life depended on it. "I'm not doing secrets, not today, not after everything." I cross my arms, steadying myself. My voice drops, thick with exhaustion and truth. "So whatever this is, say it, both of you." Sebastian looks between us, at my clenched jaw, at Maggie's jittery energy, and I see it hit him. There is no safe way to unpackage the truth. He exhales, slowly. He steps closer, his expression softening into something heavy, resigned.
Okay.
Maggie sits back down, folding her hands like she's bracing for impact. I stay standing, heart hammering. Whatever this is, whatever he's about to say, it's big. Big enough that both of them are terrified of telling me. Sebastian holds my gaze.
There's something you need to know, something that can't wait.
My breath stops. "Then tell me." He nods once, slowly.
It's about your mother.
The world tilts. Maggie's eyes go wide. My throat closes. My mother, after all these years, why now? What could possibly? Sebastian steps closer, gentle but unflinching.
Camila, your mother isn't dead.
My breath shatters. Maggie grabs the edge of the table like she's about to faint, and the room, my world, goes absolutely still. My brain doesn't process words, or sound, or breath. I just freeze. The room blurs at the edges. The world goes quiet except for my heartbeat pounding in my ears. My mother, alive, alive. No, this has to be a mistake, a misunderstanding. I stare at Sebastian, then at Maggie. Neither says a word. They just watch me, careful, worried, like I might crack open right here on the kitchen floor. My fingers go numb. I don't realize I'm gripping the back of the chair until my knuckles burn. 20 years. 20 years of praying, hating, wondering, grieving, for nothing. She's been alive. She's been out there this whole time. A sharp, dizzying wave hits me. I blink. Once. Twice. Trying to steady the room. Maggie's eyes glisten. She looks like she's watching someone step onto thin ice. She doesn't speak. She doesn't dare. Sebastian. He's standing still, jaw tight, eyes soft, with something like guilt or sorrow, or both. Why isn't anyone saying anything? Why is no one explaining? Why is this being dropped on me like a grenade? The silence stretches. Heat rushes behind my eyes. Anger, grief, confusion, relief, betrayal, all tangled. And then something inside me flickers, sharp and cold. I lift my gaze, meeting Sebastian's with trembling steadiness. Finally, I blurt out, "Start talking." Sebastian swallows once, the muscle in his jaw ticking. He steps closer, slow, cautious, like approaching a wounded animal that might bolt or bite. He keeps his hands visible, palms open, as if to say, I'm not here to hurt you.
Camila, I need you to breathe for me first.
I don't. I can't. Breathing feels optional right now. He studies my face, sees that I'm seconds away from exploding or collapsing, possibly both, and decides to just begin. His voice is low, steady, but layered with something raw.
Yesterday, when they took me, I woke up somewhere I didn't recognize, and the first person I saw was your mother.
The room tilts again. I grip the chair harder. My mother. I can't picture her. Not as alive, not as real, not as something other than a ghost I've grieved for 20 years. Sebastian keeps going, gently, carefully.
She found me, or orchestrated finding me, not to hurt me. She needed to talk, to explain things.
Explain what? Abandoning us? Vanishing? Letting me think she was dead for half my life? My voice cracks on the last word. Maggie flinches. Sebastian's eyes soften, pained. He nods once.
I know how this sounds, and I know what it's doing to you.
No, he doesn't. He can't. But I let him talk because stopping him means facing feelings I'm not ready for. He takes a breath and continues.
She's been alive, hidden, forced into hiding. Camila, she wasn't just gone. She was trapped for years.
Something inside me stutters. Trapped? What kind of story is this? What kind of life was she living while mine was falling apart? My chest tightens painfully.
She didn't choose to leave you. At least, not in the way you think.
I suck in a shaky breath, hands trembling now. Through clenched teeth, I manage to say, "And you believed her? Just like that?" He shakes his head.
No, I didn't. I questioned everything. And then, she told me things. Things no one else could know. Things she couldn't fake.
My stomach drops. He steps forward again.
Camila, your mom has been living in hell, and now she's out. She's alive, and she wants to explain everything to you.
My pulse bangs against my ribs. Maggie is dead silent beside us, eyes flicking between our faces like she's afraid to breathe. I swallow, throat raw. So what? You're saying she wants to see me? He hesitates. Just for a beat, enough for me to feel the weight behind the truth.
She wants to tell you the truth, everything, but only when you're ready.
Ready. A word that feels like a punch. How am I supposed to be ready for this? How do you prepare for yet another ghost walking back into your life? My knees weaken. I sink slowly into the chair before they give out altogether. I feel Sebastian's hand hover near my shoulder, not touching, waiting for permission. I don't give it. Not yet. My voice is barely audible when I say, What else did she tell you? And Sebastian looks at me with that expression, the one that says the next truth is going to hurt just as much as the first. Sebastian crouches slightly so he's at eye level with me, not looming, not crowding, just close enough that I can hear him breathe. His voice drops, low and steady.
Camila, I'm not going to tell you your mother's whole story. That's hers. And trust me, it's something you need to hear from her, not filtered through me.
A fresh wave of dizziness hits. Hear it from her, in the flesh, alive, breathing, choosing to speak. He keeps going, gentle but deliberate, like removing a bandage he knows is stuck to the wound.
But there's something I do need you to know right now. Something you have a right to understand.
I brace myself. He inhales.
The man who held her captive is the same man who's after that tape.
Everything inside me freezes. Same man. Tape. Captive. It feels like someone is stitching my past to my present with barbed wire. I whisper, barely audible. What? What man? He responds with a name I've heard in hushed whispers, old conversations held behind locked doors, topics my dad refused to explain, and an old friend I had long forgotten. I hold my breath as I hear Sebastian say,
Don.
It hits like cold water down my spine. My jaw slackens. Maggie gasps softly beside us. Sebastian watches my reaction carefully.
He's the same man who's had Victor pinned for years. Threatened, controlled. Your mother didn't reach out because she thought Don would hurt you. And Victor stayed away because he thought Don would hurt me.
The kitchen feels too quiet, too still. Like the whole house is listening, I sit back, staring at nothing, because staring at reality might break me. Don. The name tastes sour, heavy, wrong. My father hid something huge, something dangerous, and now it's crashing down on all of us. I sit there, numb, stunned, and suspended between the past I thought I knew and the one that just got rewritten. Sebastian's voice softens, like he's bracing for impact.
There's one more thing you need to hear about Victor.
The words sit between us like a live wire. I'm frozen, numb, my mind racing so fast I can't grab a single thought long enough to make sense of it. Sebastian watches me carefully, too carefully, like he's waiting for me to shatter. My mouth is dry when I finally manage to speak. What about Victor? What did he do now?
Victor orchestrated my kidnapping to bring me to Angela. Not the way she wanted it done, but you know my brother. All muscle, no brains, no patience.
A cold ripple travels down my spine. Of course, Victor would do something reckless, violent, but dragging Sebastian into this, using force. My heart starts pounding. Sebastian continues, his voice low but controlled, the way he gets when he's walking a tightrope.
I told Angela I wouldn't hear a damn thing unless she let me go with Victor. I needed to meet with the team, see if this wasn't one big setup. I still don't know if any of them can be trusted.
I clench my jaw. He exhales, rubbing the tension out of the back of his neck.
While we waited for pickup, Victor talked, really talked, and he gave me background I wasn't expecting. I'm not saying everything's forgiven, it's not, but I'm starting to understand why he did some of what he did.
My stomach twists, understanding Victor, after what we saw on that tape, after what he did to Dad. My voice barely comes out. Sebastian, where is he now? He meets my eyes, unwavering.
I brought him back with me. He's at the command center, he was searched, and he's being monitored. I'm not letting him out of my sight until we know exactly what we're up against.
The air leaves my lungs in a slow, trembling exhale. Victor, here. Under the same roof, breathing the same air as me. I try to steady myself, but the room tilts, just slightly. They watch me with that quiet, worried look, the one that says they already know I'm seconds away from spiraling. After hearing that Sebastian brought his murderous brother within feet of me, the air in the kitchen is tense, to say the least. Sebastian reaches for my hand. His hand touches mine, warm, steady, grounding. But it doesn't ground me. It lights a fuse. At first, it's just heat under my skin, a slow burn crawling up my spine. Then my throat tightens, and something sharp lodges in my chest. And suddenly, I'm standing. I don't even remember pushing my chair back, but it screeches across the floor. I yell, "You brought him here?" I'm locked on Sebastian. Victor is the reason my father is dead. The reason my voice cracks, but I barrel through it. The reason I don't sleep at night, and he's in your command center, in this house. Sebastian rises slowly, palms open, patient, too patient.
Camila.
Don't Camilla me. My heartbeat is a drum in my ears. I watched my father die because Victor sold him out. I spent years wondering why my family burned to the ground. And now you're telling me he kidnapped you, dragged you across God knows where, delivered you to a woman I thought was dead, and you just... what? Decided he deserved a second chance? Sebastian doesn't step back. He doesn't raise his voice. He just looks at me, like he's letting me burn without trying to put out the fire too soon, which somehow makes me angrier. You didn't think for 1 second how this would feel for me. I jab a finger toward the floor and shout, "He's here! Sebastian, under our roof, breathing the same air as me, and you brought him back like he's some wounded stray you're trying to rehabilitate." Maggie stands from the counter, but she doesn't move closer. She knows better. She knows this is a storm I have to ride through. I turn away for half a second, pressing my palms to the counter, breathing hard. But it doesn't help. If anything, it fans the flames. "I can't believe you did this." My voice drops low, trembling with fury. How am I supposed to trust any of this? A beat of silence. Then,
You don't have to trust any of it yet. Just trust me.
I freeze. I want to, but the fire inside me isn't done yet. He wants me to trust him. Right now, that word tastes like ash. The anger surges again, hot, uncontrollable, and I spin back toward him before he can say another soothing, steady, maddening word. No, Sebastian. We're not skipping past this. What possible good reason did Victor give you for having my father murdered? Maggie inhales sharply behind me and says,
Sis, please just take a breath.
but I don't stop. I step toward Sebastian, chest tight, hands shaking. "Please, enlighten me." I spit the words out like poison. "Tell me the excuse your dear old brother gave you this time. What heartbreaking, tragic little tale made you look at him and say, yeah, maybe this isn't his fault?" Sebastian's jaw tightens, not defensiveness, something heavier, but I'm too full of rage to decode it. I push again, sharper. Did he cry? Did he tell you some sob story about how Dawn manipulated him? I laugh, short, bitter. Because guess what? I don't care if he was manipulated. He still chose to kill my father, chose to pull the trigger, chose to cover it up. My throat tightens, but the anger shoves the emotion back down. So, go ahead, Sebastian. Tell me what he said. I point at his chest. Tell me the magical thing he told you that somehow makes any of this forgivable. I can feel my pulse pounding in my fingertips. Sebastian doesn't back down. He doesn't interrupt. He just watches me, eyes steady, voice caught somewhere between regret and resolve, and that stillness only enrages me more. I continue my rampage, because unless Victor has a time machine and can bring my father back, I don't see how any of this could possibly make sense. The room falls silent, except for Bruno pacing nervously, sensing the tension, and I stand there, shaking, waiting, daring him to give me an answer that won't break us both. Sebastian finally moves, slow, careful, like one wrong step might send the entire house collapsing around us.
Camilla, listen to me.
But I can't. I physically can't, because all I can see is my father's body slumped over his desk. All I can hear is years of silence, lies, missing pieces. And now, somehow, the man responsible is downstairs in some underground bunker, while everyone expects me to stay calm enough to process it. Sebastian takes another step toward me, voice low and steady.
You deserve answers, and I swear to you, I'm going to give you every single one. But Victor didn't.
No. The word snaps out of me before he can finish. No, don't do that. Don't stand there and try to soften this for me. You brought him here, after everything, after what he did to my family, after what he did to you. Silence crashes into the kitchen again. Maggie watches us both carefully now, anxiety written all over her face. Bruno whines softly near the island, ears pinned back. Sebastian reaches for me again.
See,
But the second his fingers brush my wrist, something inside me finally breaks loose. I yank away. I can't do this right now. And before either of them can stop me, I turn and storm out of the kitchen.
Camilla!
Sebastian calls after me immediately. I hear his fast footsteps behind me, but before he can follow outside, Maggie steps directly into his path.
Sebastian, stop.
I stand outside the door, trying to catch my breath, and hear his voice filled with frustration and panic, barely contained.
She's upset.
Of course she's upset. You just dropped 3 nuclear bombs before we even digested breakfast.
I can picture him dragging a hand down his face, already trying to move around her.
I need to talk to her.
No. Right now, she doesn't need answers. She needs space. Let me go check on her.
For a long moment, he says nothing. Then, finally, reluctantly, Sebastian nods once.
Okay.
I watch through the window as Maggie squeezes his arm gently before heading after me, leaving Sebastian standing alone in the kitchen, surrounded by cold coffee, dirty dishes, and the wreckage of truths that can't be taken back.
That's it for this week's episode of Echoes of Us. But the story is far from over. New episodes drop every Thursday, so be sure to follow, subscribe, and never miss a moment. Thank you for listening and being a part of the story. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider leaving a review or sharing with a friend. It helps more listeners find us. Until next time, listen closely, because sometimes the past isn't as far away as it seems.